inspiration, I wanted to share with you a couple of credit repair, dispute letter, credit sweep secrets. So that is what we are doing tonight. So now I will let you know, I did tag a couple of the things from my store down in the description. When you have a second, you can go check it out. They're going to also help you to implement the things that I'm about to tell you, okay? We've been talking about all the things that people are doing wrong with their disputes and why you're not getting results. But tonight, we're just going to talk about things that you can do that are going to increase those credit scores, remove those negative items as quickly as possible, without kind of going over the things that you are doing wrong, because you can make these changes really quick. So let's start with something really simple. I know that there's so many people out there that are telling you, and this is even companies, okay? They're telling you that you can only dispute a couple negative items at once, right? Like 3 or 5, but you have 10, 15, 20 negative items. How is that going to help you when 12 months down the road, you still haven't even disputed all of your negative items? And here's the thing. The reason that they tell you that you can only dispute a couple negative items is because we don't want it to come back as frivolous. No. They tell you this because they want to drag you on month after month, year after year. So if you are with one of those big companies, we're not going to name any names, okay? But if you're with one of those big companies or even the small ones that are telling you this, they're only trying to get more money out of your bank. That is all it's about. So if you want to keep that money in your bank, you need to know that you can dispute every single negative item on your credit report all at the same time, even in the same dispute letter. But there's a better way than putting all of your negative items in one letter. See, I'm about to give you the formula that I use, not only for my, quantity of negative items that go into a dispute letter, but also the way that a dispute letter is written, as well as a dispute reason, okay? Everything has a structure. You see, after doing this professionally for 12 years, 10 of which, virtually 10, have been here on YouTube, I've perfected the things that I do, right? I perfected my craft. How many negative items should go on a dispute letter? Well, my magic number is 10. Why is it 10? Because we want to basically overwhelm and bog down the system, and hopefully maybe you're going to fall through the cracks and we're going to get more violations and we can go after those violations, right? So if you put 120 negative items in one dispute letter, yeah, you can do that, not a problem. Many people do. I've done it. Depends on what I'm disputing, like medical. I will put all of those babies right into one dispute letter, right? But if you have collections and charge-offs and student loans and bankruptcies and late payments, break it up so that you're sending out one letter on Monday, another letter on Tuesday, another letter on Wednesday. You want to keep those things going, okay? 10 items per letter. Now, how many dispute reasons should go per each account? Now, if you're anything like me, you'll look at a credit report and you're like, this is inaccurate, that's inaccurate, that's a violation. No, I've got 5 different things that I could dispute right now. But if you put all your eggs in one basket, what's gonna happen when the credit bureaus come back and they're like, nope, verified as accurate, you can't reuse a dispute reason. So if you already said not mine, just as an example, don't use that, but just an example, you already said not mine, you can't say not mine again. You already said date last paid. Unless you're using the EvolutionLine method, you can't reuse that dispute reason unless you have changed information, right? So you need to look at all of your available things to dispute on an account and find the best possible reason, the best possible dispute opportunity to use, and choose one. I don't care if you have 5, we need to just choose one, okay? That number 1 dispute reason should be an inaccuracy or a violation. So in your dispute letter, you have all of your accounts, but each of those accounts should only say one thing. Unless you are 1,000% sure, 1,000% sure, put my life on it, take my house if I'm wrong, that you are going to get that deletion from that letter. And you can never be that absolute confident about that. You see, when you use that dispute reason, if you use it again, now it is frivolous. And you might as well have just put everything on there. Just might as well not even write it in English. Who cares, right? Just put babble, 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 accounts to dispute, all of the dispute reasons, your name. That's it, okay? So 10 items per letter, chop it up, send them out on different days, one dispute reason per account. Now, your dispute letter should literally just answer a couple of questions. What are you writing that letter for? Like, what? Why? What is the purpose? What are you trying to say? What do you want them to do? If your letter, in very concise, few sentences as possible, like 1, 2, or 3 sentences, does not tell them like that information, then your letter is too long. Unless you're using eOscar code dispute letters or Metro 2 challenges, those letters can be very, very long. Okay, so unless you are writing a letter like that, it should not be a fizzling pages. I should not have to turn the page if I printed out your letter, unless it's because you have all of your accounts and you have many, many accounts. Okay, so we're only using a couple of sentences to explain why and what we want them to do. I need you to investigate these negative items or these inaccurate or accounts in violation or whatever, and remove them from my credit report and send a new copy updated showing these results. Okay, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to say. The magic, the key to the actual process is in the dispute reason itself. When you get a result, it's not excuse me, it's not because of that first paragraph or your 17 pages that you sent. It's because of the dispute reason. So what should your dispute reason look like? Now, I was only going to give you 3, but as you can see, we're going way more than 3. And again, in case you weren't here at the beginning, if you want all of the secrets, you want the A through Z, you want to go from 0 to hero, you want to know exactly what to say, when to say, with whom to say it, and you don't want to be doing this year after year or month after month or spend more than 6 months doing this, then check out everything down in the description, including that very first link. It'll take you to my Atomic Credit Repair course, okay? So back to this. Your dispute reason should be hella simple, okay? There should not be anything complicated, and do not put anything in your dispute reason that you cannot prove, okay? We're not just arbitrarily coming up with something. We're literally dealing with nothing but the facts. So do what an attorney would and only use the facts, but spin the facts to your advantage, right? An example of this would be, let's start with date last paid. So if you're looking at your credit report, let's say that you have a charge off that you want to remove, and it has 3 different dates under date last paid. If you don't know why the date last paid is important, I'm going to tell you right now. It's the date that starts that 7-year clock, right? So if you have 3 different dates, that account is naturally going to come off your credit report at 3 totally different times, whether that be days, months, or even years. So that's why normally with really difficult accounts or with things like charge-offs, I start with date last paid outside of blatant inaccuracies such as 3 different past dues, 3 different balances, or, etc., right? So you are going to state the creditor name, the account number. So example, Capital One account number 517805. You're going to put a hyphen, or you're just going to enter and go down to the next space. Then you're going to put your dispute reason, and this formula I created back in 2018 has gotten me nothing but results because you can plug in anything. Look at your credit report, take the information, put it into this, and you will get results. It's as simple as that. It's literally Sesame Street simple. It's called the Agero formula: action, justifier, element, reason, outcome. Let's break this down. Action is very, very simple. Delete or update or remove and correct. I don't care what you want to call it, but you need to have an action. What do you want them to do with this account? Obviously, for a charge-off, you can't fix it. You have to remove it. So we're going to say for Capital One, this charge-off, account number 517805. You don't have to put charge-off. I'm just telling you we're dealing with charge-off. You're going to say delete this account or this bankruptcy, this inquiry, this address for inaccuracy, for violation, because, and then you're going to tell them why. Why do you think that this account should come off? This goes back to looking at all the information you have on your credit report and finding that number one reason, the best possible opportunity. And we can do this very simply by stating the date last paid reports this date on Experian, this date on Equifax, and this date on TransUnion. That's all you're doing. You need to support with the facts what you told them you wanted to do. You cannot simply state, remove this account because it's wrong. Remove this account because the balance is incorrect. How? Why is the balance incorrect? You can't figure that they're just going to know that the balance is incorrect because there's 3 different balances. What are those figures? What are those numbers? If you are not providing that information, then don't bother sending out your dispute letter, because lo and behold, you're probably not going to remove this from your credit report if you don't provide that information, okay? So it cannot be a general statement. It does need to include the facts. And like I said, you can use this for anything: short sales, foreclosures, bankruptcies, judgments, tax liens, late payments, inquiries. I mean, really anything. For a collection, you can say delete this account because you have no way of verifying it. You don't even have a creditor name. You don't have an account number. You obviously have no idea who's paying you to report this account, so it can't be on my credit report. You can't verify it. If you have no idea who this creditor is, then you will have 0 way to verify it. So an example of this is Equifax. Equifax is notorious for doing this. They'll put medical collection. And that's obviously not the collector's name, okay? You cannot tell me that that's the collector's name. If I can't go down to where it says creditor information and find medical collection with their address, then that can't be on there. Why? If you know this, smash that like. If you don't, I'm about to tell you. You see, buried in section 623, it states that an account that could possibly be inaccurate must report an address. Why? Because you have a due process to dispute inaccurate information on your credit report, and you should not be forced to only deal with the credit bureaus. You have the right, that's what due process means, you have the right to go directly to whoever that creditor is. So if the credit bureaus are taking away your right to dispute directly with that data furnisher, then now there's a violation of section 623. Go check it out yourself, okay? You will see exactly what I'm talking about. So every single time you see a creditor name, it's normally going to be a collector that does not have the creditor name, the account number, and an address to submit a dispute directly to them. We have a violation.